Hey folks, and welcome to the Pipnotic Symposium for the 4th of November 2019. Okay, let's have a run through some pairs and see if we can identify some areas that we can expect price to bounce at. Currently here on the Euro-American dollar, price is having a bit of a bounce off this weekly demand. The software brought this to our attention a couple of years ago, about a year ago, and this box has been on there for a very long time. Price poked into it, and now we're having a retreat from this area of weekly demand. If we have a look here, if we're not keen on trading the first test, we can trade departure patterns, which are typically areas of demand where price is kind of rallying, accumulating sideways, and then departing once more. And we have something going on just down here. Okay, price formed this area of demand, and this is interesting because the way price departed like so. Notice also that we had an area here that price respected for some time, this price level around here, then price went through it. So we have this area here, and this is the one. Sorry, let me just use my rectangle tool here. So we had this, so this was tested. You can see here once on the departure, twice here, and this one rallied. We didn't hold, we managed to move up, and now we're about to move through. The area that's responsible for the consumption of this area here is down here. This is the origin of the move that managed to move away. Notice that since it was established, there is no black space. Sorry, there is black space. There's only black space. So price has not been back down to this area just here. So this might be a very interesting area for us to consider. Also keep in mind, as I mentioned, that we are reacting to weekly demand. And this is important, and this is demand because we had something in here that was tested once, twice, 3 times. Price left here, we pulled back, and this is where we left from. Okay, so this is telling us that we have strength, we have value at this area here, hence price reacting at that price point there. Okay, so that's what we have currently. This is a nice little continuation pattern that we could maybe expect price to have a bit of a bounce at just there. So if we have a look at the American dollar, Japanese yen, where are we on the bigger time frames? What are we doing? Well, notice here that price is having a bit of a tough time moving through this low. Had a test once, a nice rejection. We're having another test, and this one is showing some nice kind of retreats from this area of micro demand. I'd say this is weekly demand down here. So if we go down to the smaller time frames and have a look, we want to see what's going on there. Okay, so price tested, moved up to here. Now we're moving down. We move down into it, and then we're moving higher. Notice here that we have a series of lower highs. This is important to us. Okay, and we have this low, and this low is lower. So we actually have our trend line is moving lower like that. This is interesting to us because it's telling us that we have 2 areas of supply above price. We're in the process of consuming this area of demand just below price, and so this is telling us that we have a temporary short-term bias to move lower. Okay, so if we have a look one last time on the monthly chart, what's going on? We have this really nice pattern here. I like this, how price moved up. We had 2 months of distribution, so we're distributing liquidity to move price lower. We kind of came close to this area here, and then we had a nice departure. Okay, now we move sideways. We kind of poked into this area just down here, and now we're wriggling high from here. So I'm expecting a price bounce at roughly this area of monthly supply. If we go down to the weekly, you have a look. You can see that we have some gaps forming just here. So if we look around here, we've got to find some areas that were once valid, now consumed. We had that here. Okay, tested once. This area here had sat on it, and then we managed to move through. Okay, and price came back up to the beginning of the sell zone, which is here. Okay, so price is going to react at the highs of here, and price came pretty close to that before we started to retreat. But notice above price we have an interesting pattern. I mean, this one's gone, and we have this area of supply just here, like so. So that's what we have there. Let's have a look on the daily, see what that looks like. Yeah, that looks pretty interesting. Okay, we had price poke into this daily area of supply. We're retreating, so we have a high, low, higher high, lower low. So we have kind of a price expanding now, and we have essentially this area here which looks interesting, and this is actually the one that's responsible for the consumption of this, and you can see this really clearly now on the daily chart. So we have here, okay, bounced, tested. The area that did it is the high of this just here. So I'll remove this weekly area. I'm going to put my daily area up here. So we have something around here. This is pretty interesting. I would actually put it about right that. So we have something there about the 110, 20-ish area. That's pretty interesting. And you can see the beginning of the sell zone starts here. Oh, I can't see what that says. Let me go into the 4-hour. Oh, that's a tough one to read. Let's see. That is the 109.92. Okay, so that's where the beginning of the sell area is, the sell zone. So I think that once we get here, we're probably going to see some sellers into the market and maybe challenge this area of weekly demand and monthly demand that we have just down here. Okay, but we want to see price kind of have a bit of a tough time moving up to here. Okay, but that's what we have. That looks quite interesting to us, I think. Okay, let's have a look at the American dollar, Canadian dollar. So on the monthly chart, we need to see what the flows are doing. So we have this area of supply. When price left here, we had a high, low, lower high, lower low. Now price is reacting at this area just here. And notice here that we formed this little pattern. We had micro demand here that's consumed by this. Now price is reacting off there. So if we go to the weekly, we'll probably have a bit of clarity. So we have lows, lower highs. Now we have price doing something. We can't really see a whole lot of clarity. We can just see that we had some bounces here. We had a bounce, price is moving deeper into it, and now we're forming some lower highs off the top and lower lows, and so we're expecting, I think, price to wriggle through here. Note that we do have this area here which was tested once. So this price point was established. Price rallied up north. We poked into the edge of the sell zone, and then we retreated all the way down to this opposing demand here. And now we're looking to maybe have a bit of a wriggle through here. The beginning of the sell zone at this price point, we'll have to go to the small time frame to see it, is here. You can see that. Have this. Okay, this is being tested. And price is looking to wriggle lower from here, you can see. But also notice here that we have a low and we have a higher low here. Okay, so the demand in this area, it's not pretty, but we do have demand here. It has not been consumed by the opposing order flow. So I'm thinking we'll probably poke into here and then maybe wriggle a little bit higher in order to rebalance this price inefficiency, which is still in play. We have this here. Okay, so we have this here at the 13300 area. Let's see, so we have this here, tested once, removed by this, tested, so this one's gone. So this is responsible for this one being removed, but this is the origin of the move. Okay, so we have a couple of areas we can watch. This one is currently in play, and we have this area, the 13300 area up here. But notice also that price has already been back to this price level here. Okay, so I would feel more comfortable looking higher. We have this one here, but price has already been back to this price point here. The only price point that is fresh is this one up here. So I'd be most comfortable selling higher. I just don't like the fact that price has been up here, down, we're coming back, we're moving down. Okay, and so this kind of area here is kind of thinned out a little bit, and so I'd be a little bit cautious trading this area here for the reason, because price has already been back to this price point. So just be a little bit careful. I'd certainly say that selling higher would be interesting here. And until this little area has been removed, we still have to see price, attract some real selling pressure to move price through this. Okay, let's have a look at the Aussie American dollar. Let's have a look on the monthly, what's going on. So price is reacting at the beginning of this monthly demand. Go to the weekly, see what's happening. So before we start to buy, we need to see supply being consumed. Okay, and we have a small pattern here. When price left here, we move below this low, and it was done from here. So we'll go down to the daily from there, and notice that this one is gone, and the area that did it, well, there's something down here that caused that. We can't really see that on this time frame. Oops, we can't see that in this time frame, but we can see something in here. But if you look at this, we have a lot of efficient trading here. Okay, so I don't feel comfortable with this. Yeah, we had a nice departure, but we have it's a bit messy here, so we need to find fresh pushes. Okay, and I see that here. I see this here, and I see this here. So I'd be keen in here and here, but you want to find the one that's responsible for doing damage, and you can see that here. We had this area just here. This one was tested once. This one removed it, so this one's gone. The area that did it is this one, the 67.88. So this might be an interesting spot for us to keep an eye on in the future, because it was responsible for consuming this supply just here. Okay, so let's have a look higher and see if we have anything setting up there. Prices here. Okay, so we had within this weekly untested here, we have this. It's tested once and it's gone. The area that did it, we have a couple areas. We have this one here, but I like, we have that one there, but I like this one better. I like this one here, this 4-hour area. This is much nicer. And also with this one, then I could move up here. So we're boxing off both of these areas. And this is actually the one, kind of the origin, with the green candles before the area was tested. Price sat on it, then cut through it. The slingshot was pulled back. Then we move lower. So we have the beginning of the sell zone here, and it goes up to the top. Okay, and this is also within that weekly area that the Pipnotic software is telling us about. Okay, you can see it here. Okay, so we do have, let's remove all of these, all of this. Okay, so we have the candle to the left, accumulation, distribution. Is the body of this candle within the range of the previous? No, it is not. So I think we're probably going to get some bounces that are around this area here. Okay, this looks nice. 0.7 area. That looks like a pretty decent area just there, I think. Okay, notice that price has already been back to this area here, so we might go a little bit deep into this area in order to find attract some selling. But that's what we have here, because you can see that we have this area. Price move lower, we move sideways, we left, now we're wriggling higher, and this is where we had a nice departure. So we do have this area here. I think we're probably going to attract some selling, also because we do have this happening at the big figure. Keep in mind, this is super important, that we're reacting at monthly levels below. So this should be, this means that we have to be a little bit careful, okay, because we are very low. We're very, very low. So we will be selling prices that are already very low. So just keep that in mind, and look at this, or manage potential trades with this a little bit careful, okay? Because this is something we have to consider here. We also have this here, tested, now gone. The area that removed this is this. It was tested. Price is moving higher. The area that moved through this, we're still moving through it, but looks like we're going to get something in here. So we go down to the 4-hour, the 1 hour. Yeah, not very attractive for us, I don't think. So and this is what we have. I wouldn't be buying anywhere here. I'd be keen, as we mentioned earlier, to buy here because this is the one that's responsible for doing some damage to liquidity here to the left, as we saw just moments ago. So let's have a look at the dollar Swiss franc. What do we have? The major flows are doing what? Well, they are wriggling around doing absolutely nothing. Okay, so we have price doing nothing. We have prices wriggled higher. So we had here, we had here. So we had a trend line that went up like that. It was removed by this. The price tested that. Now we're moving lower. When I look at this, I'd be keen to buy lower. You can see that we're pretty range bound. Range bound here, and we have these price levels here. Okay, so I wouldn't be keen to do anything until we get lower. And you can see we had like price pull back and then retreat. So we have the beginning of the buy zone is here. The demand is down here. Okay. Refresh weekly. Yeah, this is what we have. And looking on this time frame, you can see how price moved down, moved away, rallied, accumulated, rallied, accumulated, rallied, accumulated. So this one has been tested. Okay, and the area that was tested is here. So you could have another bounce there. That's at the 95.40 area. Alternatively, we could look lower, and this would of course be the edge of the range. Okay, this is a pretty nice area here actually. We have a parent child. Price moved through the child as expected to the parent. This is where we managed to attract some buying. And so price is just wriggling away from this area of weekly supply. Tested once. This is a second test. Now price is leaving and moving lower. Okay. Also note that swaps are against short positions, so this will be expensive to hold. You'll be paying $9.60 to hold short positions per standard lot per day. So be careful with that if you're trading large volume. Okay, the last pair today, we're going to have a look at this, the pound, American dollar. So we had more delays in Brexit. This is good, I suppose, because, well, no Brexit. So price rallied up to this monthly supply. Okay, poking at it, and now we're kind of moving sideways. It's Monday, so nothing's really happening. Looks like we're looking to move higher. Our price kind of moves like that, rallies and moves sideways. This would make me nervous selling just by looking at this. Okay, because it looks like the price is kind of sticking to this area here, potentially in an attempt to move a little bit higher. But we do have these daily areas, that I like. I've been waiting for this one for a long time. Okay, this is interesting. We have another little one in here. So we have this area here, which is removed by here. So this area took this one out. Slingshot, pulled back, come on, to here. This is terribly ugly, this one here. So the beginning of the sell zone is there, and price is moving kind of up to its slow. This is a pretty ugly area. I prefer this one up here. This is nice and fresh, just a really gorgeous cutaway. And this is interesting to us because this is the one that is responsible for moving this. Okay, demand tested, price moved down to it, we settled it, and then we devoured it, completely devoured it. So this is an interesting area for us to sell it. Okay. There are a few areas for you guys to watch. If you have any questions, send them in. Otherwise, see you at the end of the week. Thanks for watching.